China and the United States are not actually fighting an AI war. It's all theater. They're actually working together to promote AI. My prediction is that we should have two nations reconcile their differences and they start a new chapter in world history where they work together to stabilize the global economy. So what I want to do today is discuss how we got here, why a grand bargain will happen, and what this grand bargain will look like. Let's discuss some of the events that led to this meeting between Xi and Trump. This is David Lee from Twitter, and he's talking about like the past month, what happened. So the first thing that happened is that China blocked Manus. Manus is an AI company that Mark Zuckerberg tried to buy, and Manus was incubated in China. If you're an AI company, if you become very successful, you want to go to the United States because that's where all the money is, that's where all the talent is. That's how you become really, really big. But because it was incubated in China, China decided, no, you can't go to the United States because this would set a bad precedent. China is trying to grow its own talent. So this shows the AI war being fought between China and the United States. Okay, so that's one thing that happened. Another thing that happened is that the US imposed sanctions on Chinese companies that do business with Iran, including satellite companies that sell commercial intelligence to Iran on where US bases are, teapot refineries, which take Iranian oil and then convert it into energy that China can use. And in response, China said, no, you cannot impose sanctions on us. If you impose sanctions on us, and if people comply with these sanctions, then we, the Chinese government, will sanction these people as well. Okay, this is something called the blocking order. This also seems like an escalation in the US-China trade war, where previously Chinese institutions, banks, individuals complied with US sanctions. And this is the first time the Chinese government said to Chinese people, if you're a Chinese citizen and you comply with US sanctions, then we will sanction you. Okay, so this is a very big deal. Nvidia was not able to sell chips into China. And this is going to affect Nvidia's bottom line. Okay, Nvidia is right now the world's most valuable company, primarily because AI depends on their chips. China invited Iranian Foreign Minister Araghchi to Beijing because China is very interested in the outcome of this war between the United States and Iran. Iran is blocking the Strait of Hormuz, and China depends on 50 to 60% of its energy needs from the Middle East. Jiang Xueqin was not on the China list. So before Trump took off, it was announced that Jiang Xueqin, who is the head of Nvidia, would not come to China. And this is a very big deal because in this grand bargain, what China would want is access to Nvidia chips, semiconductors, in order to fuel its AI. The United States and 6 other nations had a war game in the Philippines, and China sent 28 warships. Trump sent Iran an MOU. Iran made modifications, and Trump said no. Okay, so it seems like the war will only increase in the Middle East. After Iran had responded, China announced Trump's state of visit, and then yesterday and the day before, He Lifeng, who is the vice premier in China, and Scott Bessent, who is the treasury secretary, met in South Korea to try to negotiate a deal. And then what's going to happen is that Putin will visit China after Trump leaves. So if you just look at what's happening, it seems as though there's still a lot of friction between the United States and China. What I want to show you today is that all of this, you can just ignore. This is all that's happening right now. But if we use game theory, if we just look at the broad contours of what's happening, we would make much better predictions as to what will happen. Okay, so all this, I think, is just theater. China and the United States are not actually fighting an AI war. It's all theater. They're actually working together to promote AI. These sanctions are happening, but eventually the US and China will come to a grand bargain and they will become much more economically integrated. And Iran, China doesn't really care about Iran. Okay, China cares first and foremost about the relationship with the United States. And one piece of evidence for that is that when Foreign Minister Araghchi went to Moscow, Putin met with him for 90 minutes, and Putin expressed his sympathy and support to the Iranian people. When originally came to Beijing, he only met with his counterpart, the foreign minister, Wang Yi. Another important thing is that Scott Bessent is the one who is leading the US team in China. Scott Bessent is the Treasury Secretary. This goes against protocol because it's usually the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, and the National Security Advisor, who also happens to be Marco Rubio. This team is the one that sets the agenda for the US-China visit. Because it's Scott Bessent, we can probably guess that this is probably going to be an economic negotiation. And the focus will be on finance. Basically, what America wants is for China to open up its financial sector for companies like BlackRock and Blackstone to come in to sell financial instruments to Chinese people. That's what America wants. And we'll talk about more about this as we go along. So in the geopolitical landscape, it seems as though America is trying to contain China. So this is Tehran, and this is what China's trying to do. China's trying to build a high-speed rail network from Beijing all the way across Central Asia and into Europe, okay? This is a land route that Beijing wants to take in order to maintain trade with Europe. As you can tell from this map, Tehran is the pivot or the hub of this trade network. Without Tehran, Beijing could not access Europe. And then Moscow also sees Tehran as very important as well for its north-south trade axis. Without Tehran, Beijing is completely reliant on Russia. Beijing does not want to become reliant on Russia. Beijing sees itself as the third axis of power in the world. All right, you have the United States, you have Russia, and then you have China. From a geopolitical perspective, China doesn't want to become partners with either the United States or Russia. It wants to become independent. It wants to create its own sphere of influence. Okay, and that's why Iran is very, very important. So a lot of geopolitical analysts believe that Beijing is forced to support Iran in this war. And what I want to show you is that's not actually the case. China may want to become independent of the United States and Russia, but it cannot actually. Now, there's a rumor a couple of days ago that one deal that Trump and Xi will sign in Beijing is Xi Jinping will commit $1 trillion investment into America, primarily factories that manufacture EV cars. This is a huge deal. And Laura Ingraham, who works at Fox News, she thinks it's a bad thing. She thinks that this is about China coming in and trying to buy out the United States. As I'll show you later, this is retarded. Okay, I think this deal will happen, but this is a deal that shows that China is ultimately dependent on America as opposed to China wants to take over America.